Helenio Herrera is regarded as one of the greatest managers in the history of the game, and there are no managers quite as associated with a specific style of play as him. Herrera is renowned for his use of the defensive Catenaccio system, which helped him achieve great success with his legendary Grande Inter side of the 1960s, and he was one of the first managers in the game to gain stardom. This is the story of Helenio Herrera, the King of Catenaccio. Helenio Herrera was born in Buenos Aires, Argentina, on the 10th of April 1910, the son of a cleaner and an exiled Spanish anarchist. Herrera's family moved to Morocco when he was 10, and it was here that Helenio began his playing career. He played as a defender, and soon into his career he moved to France, playing for a number of teams, and starting his managerial ventures with Porto as a player manager in 1944. He retired from playing in 1945 to focus on management. He spent 3 years at Stade Francais, failing to win any major honours before he moved to Spain. A spell at Real Valladolid was followed by a 3-year period with Atletico Madrid, where his methods began to bring him glory. Herrera had spent a great deal of time thinking about his coaching philosophy as a player, and whilst he was tough as a manager, he achieved results. His training was so intense that players would often end up vomiting. Herrera banned his players from smoking and drinking to ensure they were in peak physical condition. He would plaster slogans such as "He who does not give it all gives nothing" across the training grounds, and got his players to chant them during training. Herrera won 2 La Liga titles with Atleti, but he became renowned as a journeyman. After leaving Atleti in 1952, he had spells at Malaga, Deportivo La Coruña, Sevilla and Belenenses, before he joined Barcelona in 1958. Herrera's career would reach new heights with the Catalans. Despite his spell only lasting 2 years, he won 5 trophies, with 2 La Ligas, a Copa del Rey and 2 Intercities Fairs Cups. Herrera stopped at nothing to achieve success, apparently once breaking a cast off a player's arm to ensure he could train. Despite his success, Herrera would leave Barcelona in 1960, following a dispute with star player Laszlo Kubala. Herrera ventured to Italy, where he would take charge of Inter Milan. It was the start of something special. Inter had not won the league since 1954, and were desperate for change. Herrera was keen to engage with the supporters, helping form fan associations and networks, emphasising the importance of the 12th man. His strict methods continued, with him once suspending an Inter player for saying "we came to play in Rome," rather than "we came to win in Rome." He also introduced the idea of the Ritorio, a means of taking players to a retreat for several days to prepare them for matches. His intense training did not slow down, and on one occasion, 3 players fell behind on a group run. Upon arriving at the hotel, they saw that the bus had left without them, and so they had to make their own way back to Milan. Herrera became a celebrity at a time where coaches received little fanfare, and he was most well known for his style of play, Catenaccio. Influenced by Swiss coach Karl Rappan, this style involved placing an extra defender behind the 2 centre-backs to bulk up the defence, with the aim of sitting back and waiting for the opposition to slip up before hitting them on the counter-attack. His Inter team would line up in a 5-3-2 formation, based largely around offensive fullbacks. Whilst drawing criticism for being a dull style of play, Herrera often pointed out that people ignored the attacking aspects of Catenaccio, with Giancito Facchetti hitting impressive goal-scoring tallies from left-back. It took time for Inter to reap the benefits of Herrera's style, with them finishing 3rd in his first season in charge. But in his 3rd season, Inter were winners of the Scudetto. He had built his teams around the likes of Facchetti and Tarquiso Burniak at fullback, as well as sweeper Armando Pichi, playmaker Luis Suarez, and forward Sandro Mazzola. They were christened Grande Inter, and were on their way to more glory. Inter reached the European Cup final for the first time in 1964, and were up against Real Madrid, who had dominated the competition in its early years. However, Herrera was unfazed. 2 goals from Mazzola and 1 from Aurelio Milani saw Inter to a 3-1 win, as they became champions of Europe for the first ever time. Inter had completely nullified Real with their defensive tactics, using man marking and the use of Piqué as a sweeper to halt their attacks. Inter would be back again the next year, although not without controversy. They came back from a 3-1 defeat in the first leg against Bill Shankly's Liverpool, with the second leg dogged with accusations of biased refereeing. A goal from Brazilian midfielder Herrera in the final saw them defeat Benfica 1-0 to claim a second consecutive European Cup, which capped off a double after they had reclaimed Serie A. He won his third Scudetto in 1966, and the next year he had a chance for another double. They reached the 1967 European Cup final, where they faced Celtic. However, Jock Stein's side won 2-1, and Inter would also blow the league soon after. It signalled the end of Grande Inter. Herrera would leave Inter in 1968, going to Roma and becoming the highest paid manager in the world. He completed his Italian trophy cabinet in his first season, when he won the Coppa Italia, but his intense methods soon drew blood. Roma player Giuliano Taccola was suffering from illness, but Herrera decided to continue playing him. Taccola fell ill before a match, and a club doctor discovered a heart murmur. However, Herrera refused to disclose this information to the player. Taccola only lasted 45 minutes in the next match, and weeks later he suffered a seizure in the club locker room. He died in the ambulance on his way to the hospital at the age of 24. Many blamed Herrera for his death, and it would forever serve as a black mark on his name. He briefly returned to Inter in 1973 before he suffered a heart attack, which he blamed on stress. Herrera quit coaching for a few years, before joining Rimini for a brief spell and then returning to Barcelona, where he won the Copa del Rey in 1981. He would leave soon after, bringing his management career to an end. Helenio Herrera died on the 9th of November 1997 at the age of 87. He remains one of only 2 managers to lead Inter to a European Cup title, the other being Jose Mourinho, another manager renowned for relying on defensive football to bring success. Herrera's career may have brought much controversy, but it also brought results. He was a man years ahead of his time, focusing on the importance of nutrition and fitness, and also becoming a manager in the limelight at a time where many remained in the background. His Grande Inter team are still renowned as one of the greatest ever club sides, and though his methods may have been controversial, they brought Inter to the top of the footballing world.